All right, we're back again with the brown bess land pattern 2 musket. I believe this was a Pedersoli at some point or something. Now, if you've noticed, everything is done, and what I've been doing now is going back to trimming down the butt of the stock. Now, the butt of the stock on these are too big, and the wrist is now correct in that aspect. Now, how did I thin this down? I'll show you. Now, you can get tools like this. These are like really crummy. I got them out of the dollar bin at like a Harbor Freight, Ace Hardware. They're like super cheap. It's just a file. You could use a file on wood, and you find the groove from here because you want to get this down at least like 6 inches. So it goes all the way down. You rub this way. Then now you could also use chisels, and I slowly with sandpaper. Now this is how you got to do it. You got to go from 80 grit and you wrap it around a stick or a block of wood of this nature. Yeah, it's pretty simple. You wrap it around. I like to wrap it around like this so you have a nice good point. Can't just go in with a hand. Now you can find, like, I don't know, a stick anywhere or something, like a little square piece of wood, and then you slowly, use pressure obviously, but you work it in. You just get it in there and you just get her done, and you want to kind of like get that line distinct and thin this out. Now you're going to run to this, but that's where you could take any kind of cylindrical item, like the back of the makeup brush I like to use, and I wrap it up with the sandpaper. You know, you could use a Sharpie. You got it, and then you you get it in there like that. You hit it up. So basically, you want to thin this down. You want to kind of get down to about, all right, we'll actually use some measurements. I think a lot of these muskets, if you ever go to the MOR, the Museum of the American Revolution, you could look at 30 brown besses and none of them are exactly the same, which is kind of cool and kind of bad. Yeah, there's like a rule of thumb, but it's not always, the system. So what we got here, can you see this? All right, where are we at? The end of this is about 2 inches and 20. So it's almost about 2.5. We'll just say you could probably put it down to 2.5. 2/16. We got, nope, that's about, the end of the line is about 2/16. Okay. And you want to kind of get it a little bit deep in. I don't know if you can see this on the camera per se, but on the land too, this is supposed to be not as distinct. So I just sanded a little bit for my client, and I sanded a little bit over here. Now I don't know if I'm going to take it all the way up down the patina, but we'll see. So what I do is I hit it with 80 grit, then I go to 100 grit, then I go to 120. If you notice, before I scraped the whole thing down with a razor blade, and I keep progressing till I'm about 180, 220, and then I start oiling it. Well, then I start doing the slick. I put water, and I'll show you guys that. I put the water on, and get the fuzzies up, because this wood's old. So this part might be a little, we'll see. If some of the parts don't fit good, then we got to do a little bit more, like after the finish sets in, but it's still pretty sandy. But now we're at the point of where we're going to hit it up. All right, what we got here? Now we're going to go to 150 grit. Now, a lot of people think you need to go to like 320, 400 grit, crazy stuff. you're just varnishing the gun, so you're not, so oil won't get sucked in. If it's too, what do they call it? If it's too smooth, like it's got to have the pores open for the oil to get in. I don't know if that's 100% true, but I know my projects have been, the finishes have been sitting better. Now you just go get yourself, get the good sandpaper for this. Don't get the cheapo stuff. Get the 3M. I mean, that's my opinion. But yeah, you're only going to need a few sheets of sandpaper if you scraped it with the razor blade. You know, I mean, I'm just showing you how to do it, you know, with zero effort you could do it outside. You don't really need a full shop. But now we're at the point of like finishing. So we're just gonna grab it. We're just using our hand right now. I want to just kind of knock some of this off, and we're slowly getting to it. So I wanted to show you guys that is how to create this. Another tool you might want to get is a rasp. This is what I really use a lot. I stick it in here and I make all the I scar it up with the rasp. If you're gonna actually like redo a musket, you're gonna need a rasp of some kind. You know, this is probably a cheapo one. I mean, they're like 10, 12 bucks in reality. So, I mean, that's what I would do there. So it's a pretty simple process. But, you know, if you just keep sanding at stuff. Now, sometimes you get these, the Indian muskets are a lot more work, but these are cut out pretty well. You want to also keep de-dusting it. A lot of times vacuums work pretty good. Don't use your home vacuum. I mean, but if you don't have a good vacuum, just hit it with the paintbrush. You know, you don't have to use a good paintbrush, but I mean, I'm using a good paintbrush, but you know, I also take care of this thing's years old, done lots of paint, so you know, you just want to de-dust it so you're not getting this like, remember these old muskets are covered in oil and grease, so it's kind of hard to degrease them a little bit. You can see the oil's coming out of it because it's so hot today. I wonder if you can see the spots, that's oil. It's oil coming out of the stock from years of oil. So you're not going to get it completely. I mean, if you look at a gun that's like this old, it's not going to be, you know, it's not going to look brand new, but it's going to look good. It's going to look cool. You know, I like to leave a little character. You know, you do your best. And because this is a walnut, you can still see some of the wait, I wonder if you can see some of the epoxy still in there. I don't know if I need to get this epoxy out for the musket to work yet, but I'm going to probably leave it. And if it does have problems, it's what the heat gun's for. And pick it out slowly with a razor blade and things of that nature. But a lot of times guys pay for the blacking and all that kind of good jazz. So, all right, and when you get to the end, remember, start out slow, and even in the channel, I wonder if you can see the channel of the musket, you can use, I kind of roll up the sandpaper because you want to take it down a little bit. I just kind of just roll it up best of my ability and smush it. You could do, is this the best way? No. Is this the way I'm doing it? Yeah. You just get it out. See, this is still full of gunk. I need to like probably like degrease this thing. Or something. Get this. But yeah, we're getting close to, we're probably going to be oiling tonight, so I might live stream the oiling. I'm not going to dye this. We'll consider it, but we're not going to dye it per se. So, and I really appreciate everything. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. No, I do not edit, and you know, everybody here, you know, praise be to the Tumtas and all the goodness they've been bringing me.